Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Why Dallas Cowboys rookie is among the worst first-year players in the NFL. Like the Dallas Cowboys themselves, Tyler Guyton is struggling in his first year in the league. The thing is, he's actually one of the bottom-ranked rookies if the latest NFL analysis is to be believed. So far, Guyton has allowed 11 pressures, 6 quarterback hurries, and 4 sacks, placing him among the most penalized offensive linemen in the league. With 7 penalties called against him, 5 of which were accepted, he leads all offensive linemen in infractions, which has raised concerns about his readiness for the NFL's demands. Rookie left tackle Tyler Guyton may or may not agree with the NFL's officiating, but the number of penalties he and other Cowboys have already committed is alarming, Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy said. According to Natalie Miller of USA Today's Draft Wire, Guyton has been called for a penalty a league-high 7 times. The blindside protector has also surrendered 4 sacks, which ranks among the league's worst. Early struggles aren't entirely unexpected. Guyton is transitioning from right to left tackle while also filling the shoes of future Hall of Famer Tyron Smith, Sobleski wrote. Despite the rocky beginning, there's optimism about Guyton's potential. His physical attributes suggest he has the makings of a star left tackle. Fans and analysts alike are urged to remain patient. With more experience, Guyton could very well evolve into a key player for the Cowboys. As the season progresses, he may find his footing and contribute significantly to the team's success, demonstrating that early setbacks can often lead to future growth. If not, the Cowboys may have to find a way to cut Guyton from the roster before he ends up as dead weight. The Dallas Cowboys didn't do much in the offseason, so it's not much of a surprise to see them fare so poorly this season. Their lone wins have come against 2 of the worst teams in the league, and they've failed to keep up with the 2 playoff hopefuls they've faced. This team has issues all over the roster, and they should be looking to make moves to salvage this season. That's why Stephen A. Smith believes they should go out of their way to trade for Davante Adams. Even though they're still on the hook with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and their big contracts, landing a player of Adams' caliber could lead to success on and off the field for them, via First Take. Then again, the controversial pundit added that, given that this move would be beneficial to them, he's certain that they won't do it. He called out Jerry Jones for his failure to land Derrick Henry, and he believes they will have a similar approach to the former Green Bay Packers star wide receiver. At the end of the day, issues with the Cowboys run way deeper than their roster. This team has been poorly run from top to bottom, from a football perspective at the very least, for more than 2 decades now. The fans will continue to sell out tickets and jerseys, and they will continue to be profitable. As for winning Super Bowls or even some playoff games, that's a whole different story. Cowboys don't have the money to acquire Davante Adams. With this season not looking like it's going to be a competitive one for the Las Vegas Raiders, the team could be looking to cash in and gain some future assets in exchange for superstar receiver Davante Adams. In fact, the biggest question doesn't even seem to be whether Vegas will deal Adams before the deadline, but rather who will be the team to shell out the draft picks to secure his services. The most obvious choice would be the receiver-needy Kansas City Chiefs, but it's not particularly likely that the Raiders would send Adams within the AFC West. In that light, the Dallas Cowboys, a struggling contender in the opposite conference, have emerged as a front-runner. The Dallas offense looked fantastic in a season-opening win over the Cleveland Browns, but since then, has been mediocre. The team is 1-2 in the past 3 weeks, with the lone win coming as the defense allowed Dallas to win while hanging just 20 points on a low-caliber New York Giants defense. CeeDee Lamb is a veritable top wideout in today's league, but pairing him with an elite second option could kick the Cowboys' air game into another stratosphere. However, certain comments are coming to light that make it seem as if Adams won't be making his way to Dallas. Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy, who coached Adams in Green Bay, spoke highly of Adams as a player, but noted that he doesn't want to speak publicly about player acquisitions, an area of operations controlled almost entirely by owner/general manager Jerry Jones. McCarthy also seemed to indicate that Dallas would be placing a major premium on 2025 draft capital, much of which would be included in a deal to acquire Adams. Speaking of Jones, he previously has stated that the Cowboys didn't secure legendary running back Derrick Henry this offseason because the team couldn't make the money work. Henry ended up signing a 2-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens for a total value of $16 million, while the Cowboys brought former star Ezekiel Elliott back to town as Tony Pollard went to replace Henry in Tennessee. So, given the fact that Henry was too expensive for Jones to consider, it stands to reason that the Cowboys would have to stay away from Adams, who could be due over $100 million over the next 3 seasons, depending on certain terms and options in his contract. It's worth noting that McCarthy's comments, including ones asserting that he is comfortable with his current receiver core, could be aimed towards avoiding tampering allegations. Even if Dallas is enthusiastic about pursuing Adams, they're not technically allowed to say anything about it, as he is under contract with Las Vegas rather than a free agent. With the trade deadline just about a month away, we'll soon learn more about what the future holds for both Dallas and Adams for the rest of the season. Michael Irvin says Cowboys need to make a move for Davante Adams. Star wide receiver Davante Adams has asked the Las Vegas Raiders to trade him, and it seems like everyone has their own trade ideas for the 6-time Pro Bowler. Since Adams is 31 years of age and will turn 32 on Christmas Eve, it makes sense for him to go to a team that can contend for a Super Bowl championship with his help. Michael Irvin, the legendary Dallas Cowboys wideout, said on Fox Sports 1 Speak that his former team needs to go after Adams with everything they've got. Adams' numbers have been down a bit since last season, but one has to assume that at least some of that is due to the poor quarterback play the Raiders have had to deal with. As recently as 2022, he posted 1,516 yards and an NFL-high 14 receiving touchdowns in his last season with the Green Bay Packers, which earned him his most recent Pro Bowl nod. The Cowboys are currently 2-2, and they have multiple problems, including a legitimate number 2 wideout after CeeDee Lamb. They were hoping Brandon Cooks, who they traded for last offseason, would be that man, but he was underwhelming last season and has just 9 catches for 91 yards so far this year. The thing that should be considered as far as Dallas is concerned is the fact that Adams is on a different timeline than the rest of their stars. Lamb, pass rusher Micah Parsons and cornerbacks Trayvon Diggs and Darren Bland are all in their mid-20s, and while quarterback Dak Prescott is 31 years of age, he could have several more good years left in him. Wide receivers don't have as long a shelf life as quarterbacks, and the price to nab Adams could be too steep for the Cowboys considering how few good years he likely has left in him. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Davante Adams? Leave your opinion in the comments.